Good evening, everyone.
Works like a charm. It's not very different.
So we're going to go ahead and actually look at some games from the club championship tonight, because I would have done it last week, but I was not here because of work. Basically, I had to take the weekend off to play in the tournament, so I had to work Wednesday. Anyway, so we're going to look at this game from this was round 3. This was the last game to finish in round 3 at like 8:30ish, 9 o'clock. Yeah, Sam and Steven Jablon played that long. And it was a Nimzo Larson of sorts. I'm not going to pretend to know the theory of this because what series players play this? What normal players play this?
Not 3e4. That's not a move.
3e4 is not a move. That can't be a move. He played f4. I just literally copy pasted the game score that the guy sent.
I mean, e4 could make sense because it uses the pen on the a.
Yeah.
Rook, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, e4 makes sense.
e4 might be a move against knight.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This makes a little bit more sense then. Yeah. Okay. I remember this game now. Okay. Yeah. No, that move was correct because he played e5 and wound up getting this weird Alekhine knight chase thing. I remember this now. Yeah.
That's a miserable night.
Yeah, that's a miserable position for black. I mean, white's got tons of space. God, Sam needs to work on his openings. I told him this, but well, then again, this is such an offbeat line. I kind of understand why he wouldn't know how to handle this. Castles. I mean, okay, sure. I know that knight's hard to evict, but I wouldn't have traded. I would not have traded bishop for knight. I think a light squared bishop would have been better. But it's a close position, so I kind of get the argument that the knights are better.
I don't know. Those pawns are kind of miserable now.
Yeah.
Or you could be like Yasser Sarwan, just grab a pawn. See?
Yeah.
That's the argument. Pawn. Although I'd be afraid of like d6.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of trading bishop for knight, even if you're winning a pawn. It depends on the situation, of course, but I'm not sure the pawn is going to be decisive in this game. It's just too quiet, and it's still early at d6. Yeah, like Isaac said, strongest player in the room is always right.
I'm not strong. I'm close.
CD, ED, God, that isolated pawn, but okay. I don't know. I would have taken that pawn. Oh, maybe.
You can't take the pawn.
Because I don't like that isolated structure.
But you can't take the pawn. Oh, wait, that's
Yeah,
black.
you can.
Yeah, that's black.
What? Now, the funny thing is, Sam was actually unrated going into this tournament. Watch the knight c6, that's reasonable. Castles. Now he takes. Okay. Goes into the ending. And, okay.
Why did I go for this?
Yeah, this is kind of terrible, I think. Knight b4, great move. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I would have played like a3 or something, or maybe knight c3 even. I would not have allowed even the potential of that fork. God, I can see why white. Ugh. Yeah, black's doing real well here. I like those two bishops, and yeah, black's just doing well here. Up a pawn and 2 bishops in an open ending. Black's doing well. Does anybody disagree?
No.
See how that happened. Because I'm just kind of going through that. Traded into the ending. Pressure the pawn, that's reasonable. Develop a piece, threaten c2, and knight b4 is coming. So now we know the threat. a3's got to be the right move. a3 or knight c3. I like knight c3 just because, well, no, you can't play knight c3.
Yeah, I don't like knight c3.
Knight c3, knight b4.
You just never developed
You're threatening knight d3 and knight c2.
Yeah, maybe knight a3.
I like knight a3.
That's gross, though.
Yeah, it is gross, but what are your alternatives? I mean, black's definitely in a good position here.
Like the problem might be a3, knight d4 idea, knight d4, ed4, and you knight on b1.
Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
I play a4, knight a3
Yeah, but I mean, White's position is garbage.
Knight a3 is gonna let you put a little more pressure on the central pawn too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could play knight c4.
It's already bad for White. I don't know why he did this. Honestly.
Yeah. No, this is just garbage. I mean, and that just made it worse because White gets to capitalize on the threat, and you defend, sure, but loses a pawn. So White didn't even win a pawn by taking on e5, and all of a sudden, that's a beautiful rook on the 7th right
What was
there.
White's move here?
It was bishop
Why
c3.
not knight a to c4?
Knight a c4. I like that. I like your move.
You give up the fork, the rook fork.
Yeah, you give it
Ah,
up.
it could be rook.
Yeah,
rook-
yeah.
rook
Okay,
c6,
knight a c4, or just knight c4 in general. Okay, knight c4 with the e knight gets really weird. But yeah, knight a c4. I play rook b2, knight takes b2, and knight c2, and I think White's lost, maybe.
That's right, because you're gonna get the knight at the end. The black's gonna get the other knight at the end.
So let's go ahead and put that on the board. Here. Variation. Take it. I would probably
You
move.
could play.
Well, I guess you could just.
The problem is the knights are uncoordinated. Like if I go knight b c4, you play b5 at some point. Like take on a1,
And then take on a1.
and then take and then b5.
Yeah. This is just bad.
Yeah, then d5.
Oy. I don't like that. b5.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, this is just no. Yeah.
Okay.
So bishop c3, rook a2. That's just nice.
So then, where did you think that he lost the thread on this?
I think you lost the thread just. I think trading down into this ending,
Yeah.
allowing allowing black to unisolate the pawns and leave him with an isolated pawn was also a mistake.
I think chasing the knight around to begin with was probably bad.
Well, it's not a mistake if the d pawn is moved. If the d pawn is out on d4, it's not a mistake to chase.
But
If
it wasn't.
it's back like this, the knight gets a nice home on d5 again. If the pawn is on d4, your bishops and your knights can harass it without threatening or ruining your structure. So, yeah, I'm kind of skeptical.
So wait, go back after, instead of, exchange queens, and then here,
Knight c3,
yeah,
knight
knight
a3.
c3, I would maybe consider just,
e4.
Oh yeah, you got to worry about e4.
I mean-
d4 maybe.
or knight a3 here. I just feel like I don't really like rook.
Well, you got to be careful
like
of
rook
e4, and you're losing a pawn there.
Wait, doesn't d4 lose a pawn?
Yeah, but at least your position's open.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I
got
like that.
But he doesn't want to open the position though, because black's got two bishops.
So, practically speaking, rook e1 may have been a good move just because it freezes e4 threats, sort of.
It slows them because like bishop f5.
But it doesn't really, because if rook.
Well, hold on. Can you play e4 anyway?
I was about to say,
Because of
because I think
position.
you can play e4 anyway, because,
Oh no, you take on g7 first. Okay.
yeah, you take on g7 first, and, well, yeah,
Pawn
you're
gets
going to
moved.
lose that pawn, so you got to take this, and then,
At least
Bishop f6.
Bishop f6 though, right?
yeah, bishop f6,
Have to
and,
go
Rook d6 though.
No, rook
Oh,
e8,
it's me,
rook
yeah.
e8.
yeah, so you got to go probably here, and then,
I mean, you could probably even knight c3. Just ignore the.
yeah, because that's going to be an umbrella pawn. It effectively creates luft for you if he takes it, so I'm not concerned. So, yeah.
Can y'all, doesn't want to come here?
So the library's
The
closed.
library's actually closed now.
Yeah, but I left my book back.
You can try looking here. I mean, you can get into the library, just not all the way in.
Okay.
I think even before the queen in game,
That's
like
it,
it
that's
is
it.
Yeah,
Like before-
like I
before-
said, I don't think trading bishop for knight
I
would
didn't
be a
like
good
queen.
idea.
I didn't like bishop
You
d5.
wanna bring it up
If
too?
you're gonna play something, play like.
Yeah, here just d4, right?
D4, knight c3, knight e2, all
Knight
those are
e2, knight c3.
reasonable. Like I said, I think his biggest mistake was actually bishop for knight because it loosened up black's game weirdly. So yeah, I knew there was something just wrong about trading bishop for knight.
Yeah, castles is
But yeah, so let's.
So, yeah, let's see how this.
The real interesting part is how this ending developed. Now, this is where I think the slight mistake was made because I don't know.
Rook e8, right?
Yeah, he played. No, a5 is fine. Because equal threat. You know, he takes, you take, and you're threatening another piece, and I don't really see.
Yep, once a week.
I don't really see how.
I said rook e8 because I miscalculated bishop takes h2. I forgot the bishop was on b4.
Yeah. Anyway, bishop there, and then he defended. I thought he should have maybe moved his bishop back to like g7 or stayed
Or
over
bishop
here.
f6 even.
Yeah, F6 looks very looking nice.
F6 is nice.
Protect the
D6
seventh
is
rank.
nice.
It also keeps you from making Ben Feingold mad.
Bishop f6, yeah.
I actually like D6 because it supports the queen side.
Well, I was gonna get knight c4. with
Knight
knight
b5, knight c4 stuff.
Yeah, but you're. Yeah, okay.
Bishop f6 though.
Yeah, f6.
Yeah,
Guard
F6 is
a7,
good.
guard a7.
Yeah, I think this is just better, but he defended it, which I think slight error. Knight c4, and this is the problem with it is because you didn't move it, you can't move it now.
Now you have to make Ben Feingold mad.
Yep, you have to play f6, but it's the only move in this position.
I'll put bishop d4.
Takes, loses pawn, went there.
Why not just the pawn push right? Oh, because you can move the bishop with the check.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, you can't play bishop h2 check because the bishop on a5 defends e1.
Yeah.
And yeah, f4.
And f4 bishop d4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was saying why didn't white go f4?
Yeah,
bishop
bishop
d4
d4
is
is with
bishop
check,
d4.
yeah.
Bishop d4.
Yeah.
He took with the knight, and instead of taking back, he took the bishop, which I think is the right move. Because in an open ending, you want bishop rather than knight, because bishop's just more mobile. Knight c4. Going back, rook there.
Check. Oh, king f7. I
Wait.
want to see king f7.
I agree with you. King f7 is just a
No,
better
I was saying,
move.
knight d6.
Oh yeah,
I
you're
thought it
right.
was funny.
You tricked me. How dare you?
And if king f8, rook f7, that's pretty funny. Well,
Oh,
it's-
yeah, yeah.
Well, okay, but
King h6, rook there defends it, bishop there.
Wait, can you just take with the rook, right?
He
No, he
can't
can't.
just take. He can't just take the pawn either way.
knight c2.
Because the rook's guarded by the f pawn, yeah.
It's very it's complicated. But yeah, so trading like this, and personally, I think this is a draw of all draws.
This wasn't drawn.
Like, this is the definition of a drawn rook ending. I mean, yeah, there's opportunity to fight, but is there really?
White's trying.
White is trying, and then repetition.
Okay.
It's drawn by agreement.
Now, they thought that this was an interesting line, g4, and I think it was you take, and you go behind the pawn.
Don't you just threaten the rook?
Wait,
Wait, no, because check. Never mind. Yep.
I'm thinking like king c5, king d5 is the idea.
Yeah.
And then you play like rook.
I mean,
cross.
It's very difficult, but black can draw this. And partially because black's rook is behind white's pawns. And generally speaking, in an ending, you want your rooks behind any pawns because your rooks get more powerful, obviously. And they're supporting the pawn rather than, interfering with them. But yeah, so we're going to go home and this one is actually your game, Nathaniel. You had the white pieces.
Yes. I am.
Normally you're a king pawn player.
Wow,
but I
you played
noticed
before.
you-
Okay, so I don't know any
Okay.
king pawn
Yeah,
theory
real
now.
life, I've lost all of it. This is like every Carlson Anand game in the world with E3. What are you talking about?
Yeah, this is no.
Bravo,
He said
sir,
king
bravo.
pawn.
Magnus plays this all the time.
So,
What are you
well,
talking about?
I kept playing like against the same like D5
Yeah, this
Italian, and I
is
don't know
like-
theory for it, and I just played like 200 blitz games with D4 and won like all of them. So, I just knew the theory.
But
for
yeah,
this.
so this is a funky Nimzo, but it looks like a normal Nimzo structure to me, so I wouldn't complain. F5 is just a little bit weird, but it kind of is justified. Because is white really interested in trading bishop for knight and allowing that? Because bishop e4, bishop e4,
I play a weird
I
move
like
here.
black.
I'm not even considering bishop e4 ever, never.
So f4 kind of is, I think it's justifiable because your queen gets active, you get the rook lift.
What about knight D2?
You could even consider, legitimately,
That's
for
a good
black.
It is a good move. It's almost like
Yeah, no, knight d2 is a good move, but let's talk about plans here. White actually weirdly is the one who's kind of cramped in this position.
Yeah.
To the point where black can legitimately consider plans like g5, g4.
He doesn't play that though.
Because I'm not sure that white's going to be able to exploit the looseness of that king side.
I will say later on at h3 I considered resigning.
Yeah.
That's
So
fun.
I like
yeah,
I like
you
knight
did
D2.
play knight d2.
Oh, you're 1200. Knight d2 is a good move.
Knight d2 is
That's
a great
that's-
move.
1200.
That's an awesome
We've
move.
been over
That's a
this.
fantastic move.
Yeah, no, but this was your rating at the tournament. Technically, it's unrated, but this was whenever somebody's unrated, you listed as 1200.
It's gonna be lower than that then because I lost every.
Yeah,
game
it was like
against-
934 when I checked on the
Oh
website.
god.
Yeah,
D5, come on.
knight d2. He took.
Oh.
I like d5.
D5, come on.
I like d5. I like c5.
That's C5 94.
I mean, yeah, true, but d5 is good.
D5, can't you just take on D5?
Yeah, CD and ED.
Get a pawn at the end? Do it
You're
right.
saying take d5. You're saying takes.
Oh, I'm sorry, take it back with the pawn. I was
Yeah.
thinking take back with the bishop. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and this is
Or you
just
take like a queen. That's
this is just good for black.
Yeah, because that knight's
Yeah.
never moving.
So takes is the right move, I think. Well, okay, after knight d2, takes is probably the right move because you can't allow d5.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no, you're black, so d5 you have to play it
again.
again. Bishop d2, so bishop, yeah, that's reasonable. d6, I don't like d6.
I think mid final would say queen g5, f4.
Why not g5, f4?
Well, saying queen g5, f4, but everything on g6.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. d6,
or d5.
reasonable. There's a whole lot of reasonable.
Are you like a grandmaster? What are you playing?
E4 is actually a good move. I like E4.
I played fairly okay
Though,
this game.
actually, the computer didn't like it when I looked at it briefly.
The engine likes
Ninja
D5
doesn't like
here.
anything.
Yeah, engine likes d5, and I see the point.
Because it wins the pawn, I think.
Well, it doesn't win a pawn. It just kind of, what it does is it locks the light squared bishop out of the game. That's what d5 does. Because if he takes it, you take it. Bishop goes to d5. Now you play e4. It's a lot more explosive. He kind of has to take it, or retreat his bishop and it get exposed. Let me put that on the board to kind of explain why. So here, new variation. Takes, 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 and e4. And if the bishop retreats, take here with tempo, and white's doing very well. So I think you have to play here and here. And this is just bad for black.
I don't know. Queen g6. Can I point something out? Like a few moves back.
Yeah.
Like go back a few moves.
I think white's got a good position,
Instead
but I
of,
see
instead of
this.
CD, play bishop f5.
Bishop f5, yeah, that also
Maybe.
works.
But then g6. Right?
Yeah, bishop, yeah. There's some problem. It's an interesting position, but I've got a few games to go through, so we're gonna try to be
Okay.
E4. I mean, E4 is not bad from a human perspective. It makes all the sense in the world. I think E5 here is better
Yeah, I think that's what the engine likes too.
because you're unleashing your bishop and you're taking control of the center. And what's that pawn actually doing on F4? Sure, F3 is possibly a move, but how scary is that really?
Pretty scary. I don't know what you're talking about. I like F3. Because then G3 queen H5.
Yeah, my idea was just lock it down, like just go
Yeah,
for a draw.
but the problem is, I think this winds up making the game like a King's Indian.
And I can't play King's Indians.
And
And actually, I think that was my thought here. Was it kind of looks like a King's Indian after waiting
yeah,
G5, E5.
because look, I thought the game was a King's Indian when I walked by it during the tournament. As I walked by it, I'm like, this is a King's Indian.
We both get connected.
Except I looked at the structure and I'm like, but it's a Nimzo.
Yeah.
It's a King's Nimzo Indian or whatever. You know, so that's what I thought.
Stockfish BS upcoming.
E5, that's right. D5.
Oh god, never play D5.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Or
done
don't play
that.
immediately at least.
But it's aesthetically pleasing though.
No,
It's not.
That's
I
gotta
don't
keep
know.
the tension.
That's aesthetically pleasing.
In this
Wait,
pos-
to double connect
in this
four.
in this position, I would never play D5.
Don't play. Okay, if you play C5, then you can play D5, but never. Don't let him. Don't give him
Because
C5.
you give up. Because
Top engine move.
Okay, King F2.
Oh, nice.
Is
That's
the
a
top
good
engine move.
But okay, why not C?
It's
why not
only a
C5?
good move if your plan is to play like Rook G1, Rook E2, and then run your king to the queen side.
It was.
Or G1G.
And the other
My
thing,
idea was to do exactly that.
G3 I think is the wrong way to play it because you're just opening up lines to your king.
My other thought here was that all of the play is going to be on the king side, so I want my rooks to be able to get there easily.
Yeah,
But
not with your king.
you can fight fire with gasoline here.
I mean, you could have just started with G4 immediately, you know.
Yeah, you can play G4.
The
And
engine prefers G4 here.
the thing is, if he takes en passant, your rook has the H file and he's never attacking you. So, by that logic, he's not going to take en passant. Plus, probably 90% of the time, taking en passant is wrong. Most
Unless
of
you're
the
on
time.
anarchy chess.
Well, see, the thing is, though, taking en passant most of the time is just wrong. Flat wrong. Like it is here. Because it activates the dark square bishop for white, it defends white's king for him, giving you no pawn breaks against it, and it opens the H file for him.
Yep.
So
I saw, I think, what was it 16 King F2, and I sat there for a while because like, oh, this looks nice, and so I calculated like how the rooks can move around. And one of the ideas was to play Rook E2 and run my king away.
yeah, but you played G3, which I think is just it's opening up lines.
I didn't
Because
look at,
he's not
Queen
going to
H5.
take it. He's not going to take it, and Queen H5 brings pieces into the attack, so now he's ready to take.
Yeah, I just missed Queen H5.
In King G2, I would have continued with the plan. I would have been like Rook H1, Rook G1, and run. Get that king out of there.
Rook H1,
No,
H,
Yeah,
Rook
Rook
H2.
H1 G takes. Or F takes.
FG, and then Queen F3.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying.
King G2 is the one that makes any sense.
Okay, King G, yeah, fair enough. King G2. But
This
yeah,
entire game
no,
took, I think, 2 hours total. Probably more.
Rook AF8, that's good. Bishop E2. I mean, you got to defend. That's not bad. It's reasonable. I don't see another move there.
I resign.
Takes. And then you took.
G2.
Yeah, that's. I thought this was just like you're getting mated here.
No, there's no man.
Of course, I only spent like 2 seconds looking at it, but I thought there's no way you're not getting mated.
I spent like 10 minutes looking at it. There's just no man. I actually thought for a second he was going to sack a second pawn just to be funny, but...
Wait, go back. Instead of taking on H1 after Bishop D1, why not Rook G6?
Yeah, I like Rook G6. I think you're right.
I think that's what I...
What do you do actually?
Because if you play King F2, I Queen and Rook G2 is a problem.
Yeah. Why not Rook? Can you kill that pawn? Can you sack the Rook on F3?
Yeah.
Checkmate the next move.
At was thinking
after-
before rook g6, but after you just take.
Can black just sack the rook there?
There was no forced mate in the engine analysis until move 50, I don't think.
New variation. Let's see. Well, see,
We have two.
Now
you
you
can't
can-
take that. You can't take that rook.
Right,
because-
okay, he's not gonna take the rook.
So
Why?
Because
you take with because black takes with queen, and there's no stopping. Pawn takes h1 equals anything mate.
Wait, but if it takes with the queen, queen takes g2.
Yeah, you can take G2.
Oh,
Oh yeah, g2 is defended by the queen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
oh wait, no.
That's a pretty important detail.
Okay, yeah.
The position's surprisingly okay here.
Well, okay, but go back to rook g6 though a second.
Yeah, I like rook g6.
I'm trying to figure out why this is bad for black, but I don't see it.
It isn't. Black's just attacking.
'Cause I feel like you have to allow, whatever you do, you have to allow
Next coming.
gh1 equals queen.
Eventually,
it's
yeah.
like queen f1.
Well, the rook on e1, but.
I don't remember what I looked at here. I think it would have been king f2.
Yeah, but
Ugh.
you queen and then rook g2. And then the queen
Oh,
is
wait,
still
yeah,
on c2.
yeah. And that's just mated. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just bad, is what it is. So you can't do that.
I feel like rook g6, you just play a calm move like.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you do after rook g6.
Curl up in a ball.
And die.
Cry. Yeah.
Um,
Wait, you don't have to do anything.
Rook on h1's gonna be there forever. I mean, black doesn't have to take it.
But you don't have to do anything.
What does white
the
do?
problem is you can't play
No, because
rook
rook g6
here.
isn't a threat.
Yeah, rook e2, queen's queen f1.
But rook g6 doesn't do anything. Like, say I just play like a3. What's the next move? If white plays a3 here.
Oh, I'll tell you what his move is.
Really? What if I don't take
Then
it?
a4, I guess.
No,
Waiting moves.
I don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything, is correct.
Yeah.
But the problem is that rook's really good there.
It's
I
not
mean-
doing anything. It's just there.
Is it? Like, maybe for a
Well,
while.
No. Okay. I think the plan would just be black improves all his pieces and white does nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, black would just improve and win.
But yeah, there's really no threat with rook g6 though.
Yeah, but sometimes that no threat is a good thing.
Well, you rook g6 opens
Yeah, but we take-
opens the way to the knight.
Yeah, so basically black gets to
Yeah,
his
and-
position, and white can't move any of his pieces.
If you take on h1 right now, you're allowing rook g1, you're allowing counterplay. But if you just play rook g6 and just sit.
Yeah,
So you gotta guard G2, don't you, as black?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the
rook
other
g6
thing
does
g6
that,
does.
so-
Rook
yeah.
g6.
So
Right.
it's basically a case of I'm not sure I would have taken.
Man. This is like a really good idea here. I don't know why I did this.
And then ending.
Huh.
I was so confused when I came back and it was an ending. I thought.
You thought I was just getting mated?
Number one, I thought you were just getting made, and I said, even if you survive, you're going to be in a dead lost ending. And I looked at the ending, I'm like, is this equal? Yeah, that's equal.
It was dead equal for a couple moves. Like, triple zeros.
I think you're okay here, and
But black just has more movement.
not even. I think you're doing very well here. That's good. That's good.
You're fixing all your pawns on life squares, so I don't like.
Well, it kind of doesn't matter, weirdly. King f2 is wrong. What you needed to play was, I want to say,
White's probably just lost here, right? There's two-
Well, no, king
there's
f2
two
to stop
moves.
h3.
well, it doesn't stop h3.
You don't want to play h3, right? You want to have the path with g4 and h3 with the king.
Okay, so this is your biggest mistake here. You traded, or you allowed the trade, more accurately. All you have to do is prevent his king from going to g4. You know, advancing, basically. That's all you have to do.
You can play for a fortress.
Yeah.
Well, it is a fortress, because he's not breaking through on the queen side. And his only hope of winning is getting his king through and take your pawn on h2. That's his only hope.
Yeah, so this was a draw. I just messed it up with
And
bishop
all you
f3.
had to do was literally do nothing. Bishop f3. And if he moves here, you freeze his pawn and his bishop can't get anywhere. Because he can't move here,
Hold on.
I don't know about
Can
this
he
because
attack the whole
bishop
pawn?
on d7 would
Yeah.
That's
better.
right. Yeah, d7.
Oh, you're saying you
Like
put
go
the
bishop,
bishop on
go
d7?
bishop e8, and then how do you defend both e4, h3, and a4?
Yeah.
Because king f4 is going to be an issue. Like bishop d7,
King
d2,
there,
king
you're saying
f4.
bishop d7.
Yeah, this is lost.
King
Now king
here.
f4.
Where are you
King
saying
F-
now?
king
King
f4.
f4.
Well, just king.
Oh, king goes to. Oh, yeah.
My biggest problem here was the king getting to f4. So I
Yeah,
tried to keep my
okay,
king around
you're-
that area.
So that's the good thing. Your king is good where it is.
So I
You just can't let
guess.
his-
Okay,
your
so what you're
bishop
saying
stacking
after
on G4.
here is after here, what does white do?
Just bishop b3, nothing.
Oh, you're saying bishop
Just
to.
no b3.
B3.
Just wait.
Yep.
Okay. But I think that lost.
Yeah,
you.
bishop d1. Bishop d1.
Oh, bishop d1. And.
But he needs to move his bishop away from h5 before he goes king g4. Yeah. So like.
Maybe. Let's
Probably
actually
still
look at
draw.
this.
No, you can't win this with black. There's no way.
King g3 though.
No, just play like not bishop g4. Just go like king f2 or some way.
Yeah.
I'm actually afraid black's getting mated after like king f2.
Huh.
Right?
No,
Because
I think it's still drawn after.
I'm pretty sure this is a draw.
no, that's losing, isn't it, for black?
Well, this position right here, this should be a draw, I think.
Yeah, that's. Go back to that. Can you go back to that? I want to show something pretty instructive.
Bishop c2 probably.
Like go bishop h5, bishop d3, king g4, bishop d1,
Yeah.
king h3, bishop h5, king h2, and then play king f2.
Oh.
I'm thinking
Boxing.
my thing is that you're gonna be in zugzwang. You're gonna have to at some point push your
You're gonna
black
have
pawns
to
the
push
other
your
side.
push your pawns on.
Yeah,
the
so h3, just move the bishop somewhere, like bishop d1.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
why
no,
not just
actually
play
start
here?
go back.
Bishop f3.
Oh, this is clever. Bishop
Yeah,
f3.
and then b5, you just take, right?
Does it matter which way? I would
Yeah,
take
take
it
the
this
c
way,
pawn, and after
Only
any pawn
legal
move,
move.
b6, and it wins.
Yeah.
And then.
No, it's
stalemate.
stalemate.
b6.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
b6, or that. No, b6.
Oh yeah, b6,
You're just faster.
Yeah, you're faster.
Oh.
That's awesome.
and it's even better because watch what happens.
This is
I get to
b7,
play here.
c4, bishop
C4,
e2.
bishop
Bishop e2
anywhere.
Queen.
Legal move. I can promote to literally anything.
H2.
So I'm gonna promote
Promote
to
to knight.
knight.
And then h2 bishop f3.
H2
mate.
bishop f3.
Well,
yeah.
so what he would do is here.
Yeah, and then just bring the knight around like knight d7, knight f6, knight g4.
Yeah.
The end.
So yeah, basically he can't.
Can't sack the bishop.
He cannot sack the bishop.
And
to
just
try
every
and
mate.
promote. That's a nice little
I like
satellite
that.
position.
That's good. So I mean, don't lose with black.
So okay, somebody's better at calculating than me.
Well, I didn't calculate. I just saw the idea. I like force move.
Yeah, I mean I thought there was something like that, but I didn't think it was actually
I think a
real.
few moves back there was I think bishop e2 wherever that was. I think that eventually.
Yeah, no, you said you messed up your game score.
Yeah, so it says rook
It doesn't
f1
really
there.
matter,
Yeah.
so
On that
I
move-
just left in what you put in.
On the score sheet it says rook f1, but that's not possible because eventually rook takes f2 as a move.
Yeah.
So that was the move that did the least to change the position.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
I think allowing this was just bad.
c5.
That's
It was
that's
still a
just the.
continuation.
I think.
Oof.
Well, okay, so then he allowed a draw. I thought what he should have done was just. Okay.
So
I
hold on.
thought he should have taken it.
Really? Is there?
Wait a second. Why is this losing exactly after h3? Like h3, king f2.
But h3, what do I do? Like I have no moves.
No, king.
You move your king,
King
maybe.
f2, king f4. I just take on g4, king e3.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, like I said,
That's
he's
why I
not
said I
breaking
considered
through on the
resigning after h3
Oh,
because
no.
there's nothing.
If you go king f2, he plays bishop d7, right? And then bishop d1, king f4. And he makes
Yeah,
progress.
I almost resigned here because what am I gonna do? Like
Oh, that's clever.
So you're saying bishop d7 here, bishop d.
Take it.
Well, no, you can't take that like instantly.
Yes,
lost,
you
right?
can.
Why?
Watch this. Because he can't advance the king. You just go here. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you're thinking zugzwang, right? With like.
Yeah, I was
c4.
trying to figure out how to get it to a zugzwang. Because you just play here, and if his king retreats,
No, can't he push the b pawn?
b pawn.
No, you lose because CB and then you play D6 and B6, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got two pawns
Yeah.
now.
CB.
b5. Yeah.
Takes and then d6.
C4 and then either D6 or
Yeah,
B6.
definitely.
He goes 5.
Yeah. So he can't advance the pawns, so he has to retreat his king. So, which takes.
Well, hold on.
I'm trying to go to that side variation I had.
Isn't that also the same idea? Like c5, c4 here?
C5. But yeah, so he can't push the pawn, so he has to bring his king somewhere. And you just make waiting moves.
Oh no, it is losing, isn't it? King h. No, you can't do that. King g4.
No, yeah, you go king here
f3,
then.
king h5. King h5, right? And then king g3, king g5.
And then
That's why trading wasn't
King
bad.
Wait,
king g5,
right.
king h3, king e4, and I can't calculate.
You have to go to F3 here again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
f3
so.
no, then that.
Yeah, so that's why
No,
trading
it's
wasn't bad.
switched on because king h4,
King
now.
h4.
King h4 triangulation, right?
King H.
You might be
King
right.
H4, King F2.
This is a weird ending.
King f2, you're right.
King, you just keep diagonal.
Yeah, you
opposition.
should
Yeah,
diagonal
okay,
opposition,
diagonal
exactly.
opposition, I think.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the game.
Yeah. So that's why trading wasn't bad, I guess.
Bishop f3, h3, c5 was played.
You can still trade here. You can still trade and play c4.
Yeah.
And then here I blundered later on.
That was bad because
What's a flat blunder?
You gotta get my bishop c2.
yeah, and you gave him an extra pawn, and there's no way you're stopping that pawn because he controls both light squares.
Well, you played a good middle
You
game.
played very tough.
Yeah, like I said, it was good up until the end there.
No, don't save. Okay,
Uh-oh.
so
Yeah, so that's why I thought it would be the most instructive game I had.
this
yeah.
is going to be, depending on, we've still got enough time if we go through this pretty quick. Going to show this game first, just in case we don't get through it quick. But the other one is going to have a move where if you walk by the game and saw it, you'd be like, how did that rook get there? So this game was a Pierce, and I had the white pieces against Roger Martin, who's 2100. He said he peaked sometime like late 90s or about 2300.
2300.
Yeah. So he's a strong
He's
player.
an NM, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, wound up going to an Austrian attack, and he told me that he thought I was going to play in this position, bishop b5, and go into 11-fish dragon type lines where it's just complete chaos. Problem is, I haven't memorized those lines, so I'm not going to play them. It's so chaos that it's just not worth it. So instead, I'm going to play normal Austrian attack theory.
Watch him play queen before against you.
If he did, I would have been prepared, and I would have played the a3 line, which forces him to sack his queen in a way that's bad. I know my theory in the Austrian. Yeah, queen a5, that's correct. Castles. Bishop g4. And I was like, is he bishop g4? Does he really want to give up bishop for knight? And I thought, I want to see this. I don't believe that bishop for knight is, or I don't believe that giving up his bishop is a good idea here. So h3, and I have a good f file. And then knight c6. This is actually slightly inaccurate for me. Knight d5 kind of loses a pawn-ish. And I saw it to here pretty reasonable, and I thought bishop d2, great. And then he played queen c5 check, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought he was going to play bishop d4 here and go, and I was going to just go into an ending a pawn down, but I've got activity he doesn't. It's not what he did. He took the pawn. And his explanation was that he wasn't sure if I had some sort of weird tactic that he didn't see. I definitely didn't, but okay. So yeah, he took the pawn. Bishop e4, I think that's absolutely right. Don't want to trade queens.
Well, I mean, you got a 2100 afraid that you had hidden tactics, so.
Queen e6, and a lot of people were saying I should have played f5 here. And in retrospect, I kind of see their argument.
Yeah, but giving away all your dark squares like
But yeah, exactly. I'm giving away some dark squares. I mean, I am opening up my own dark square bishop, but I don't know. I don't think F5 is the right move. And I did play C3, kicking the knight because I didn't think the knight was actually. I want to just push all of his pieces back, kill any counterplay. You know, what is Black actually doing once his knight goes back, right? And now I can maybe start really considering F5 plans. But I was thinking, well, I can't really take that pawn on G6, and I'm not sure where the rest of my attack is, because I'm not going to push my pawn to F6 and have him play EF6.
You missed your round 3 game.
And if I just slowly build with a pawn on F5, eventually he is going to either take it, or I'm going to be forced to take on G6. He plays FG6, and okay, where's my attack? So that was my logic behind not playing F5. So I played King H1 because I was anticipating the G file opening up.
Well, I'm not.
He played Queen D7, which is pretty good. G4. I said I was anticipating the G file opening up.
See, this is like the moves I know.
More accurately, I was going to force it open. Or I was just going to play like F5, G5 and just roll them up, launching the pawns in front of my own king. However, this is the right plan, so I'm pretty proud of that. And then he lashed out, and this was just a terrible, terrible decision. And we have National Master Russell Potter in the house. To quote Garth Wayne, we are not worthy.
There's always fumigation for that, so you don't have to worry.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah, I don't think lashing out was a good idea, but it's, I thought E5 here, maybe. E5 was the right break to make for Black in this position. It was either E5 or...
Why not F5 after E5?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've got F5, but you're kind of stalling a little bit, and you have the opportunity to lock up the position if you play E5. With F5, the problem is I literally just take, and you've got the G file opened up. And the correct move is Bishop C2, King H8, prophylaxis, and I'm going to get him on that G file. After Rook to F6, which is decent, I think. I'm just going to double up. E5 here. I was not scared of that. Like I said, I've got a plan. I'm going to use it. And I've got an open G file. I'm going to use it. E4 and Queen to G2. And that's a lovely battery, isn't it? That's a battery. I'm not sure if he has another move. Rook G8 is also pretty good, I think. But, I mean, he's going to have to play Rook G8 at some point anyway. So, I'm not sure the move order actually works here.
Well, what's scary about Rook G8 is then your bishop is stuck.
Well, the problem
Oh, the
is
bishop is still
my
stuck
bishop
without
goes
that.
there.
Yeah.
And I was doing some analysis with the younger Villarreal who was saying that I should have been playing this B4 to try and play B5 to kick the
That
knight.
seems too slow.
But that was my thoughts exactly, was that's just way too slow. Let's get my bishop active because right, you know, on C2 it's just fighting on granite.
Rook E7 on
D5.
What?
You're absolutely correct.
Bishop
Rook
D5?
E7 is the only move.
the yeah, D5, Bishop D5.
And that's exactly what I played, is there.
Oh, yeah.
That's like
And now
that's
he
like
plays
a
it.
200 tactic. That's not that hard.
Well, he was also in severe time pressure. Yeah, when you're up 20 minutes on the clock versus a 2100.
That is true.
I took
Take. Oh, this is where Bishop D4.
Bishop D4. Rook G8.
Ooh.
And, okay, so here I probably, if I'm doing my math correctly, liquidate everything, and that's a winning king and pawn ending. Just takes everything on G7. But I didn't play
I'm
that.
thinking simpler would be like H4, H5, H6. And if you
That's also a plan. That's
Because you can
pretty
never
good.
break the pen. You have to play like I don't even know how he breaks the pin. Like, what does he do after h4?
Well, it invites h6 and.
yeah,
they got
h6,
the-
rook g6, right?
Yeah.
And I'm threatening rook takes h6. If he goes king h7, there's some ideas of sacking on h6, playing queen g6, queen h6 mate, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said after h6.
It's like
rook
h4, h6, h4,
Yeah,
h6, rook
yeah.
g6.
Yeah.
And if you take, there's a
Yeah.
g8, and then king
Yeah,
h7,
that's-
rook h6.
But yeah, so that's also a very simple plan. But let me go ahead and just put this on the board to show you what I mean by I think this is just a winning king and pawn ending. I'm not sure if it matters which rook to take with.
It's very risky to do this because the e4 pawn, if it's
Well,
not,
the king stops it.
yeah, but your king can't move, right? Like, can you just bring his king
Oh,
just
but
like,
I have an extra pawn on the queen wing.
So
Yeah,
so
we
king just goes to
analyzed this
d7.
to death
So what?
afterwards.
Yeah, we did.
No, there's nothing to analyze. You just play king d6 and then you stop the pawns. Right?
Okay, maybe
King d6, b3 though.
you might be right.
No.
Oh wait, king d6.
You
sorry.
really just do
I thought you
nothing,
said-
and you
Plays
can
it
never
okay.
make a
Because
pass
the king-
pawn.
There was a point where it was just literally a winning king and pawn ending. Maybe it wasn't there.
I'm just thinking.
But this is a mistake, actually.
Yeah.
Oh god.
That's
I was looking for a knockout blow, and
That's your kind of move right there.
I was so
Cinema had
focused
to
on
analyze
this
some
plan,
of
Oh,
the-
yes.
except y'all thought my pawn was on h2.
How big a difference does that
I
make?
guarantee if you turn on the engine right now, h4, h5, h6 is gonna.
Oh no, you're absolutely correct.
It's gotta be the right plan. I don't see what black does. Black seems looks fine. You can
No,
never.
yeah, no,
you
you're,
can't do anything.
absolutely correct.
If you don't
But
play
yeah,
c5.
so the simple tactic is that during the game, for some reason, I just missed that he could move his rook on g8 once my rook is taken.
Ooh.
So he can play hg, queen g, rook somewhere, and the tactic with queen h8 doesn't work. Yes.
Are you just losing?
What was the last move before white played rook g6?
The previous move was rook to g8.
T8 was played, wasn't it? And I said rook G8 was
Okay.
I mean, h4.
Look at it.
And you had me
Yeah, so rook g6, I kind of lost the thread here.
He didn't take
e3.
it? What?
Well, he was too busy focused on like, oh god, I'm getting mated. Let's just throw something out there. That's pretty much what he said this move
Wait,
was
isn't
he
taking
thought he was
losing
getting
though?
mated.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
taking. Can't you just take? it?
Yeah, no, you can take and
Yeah.
play like rook b8 or something.
Yeah, go back
Yeah.
and just slide out there.
E3, I think this is the position where I liquidate everything.
Ah, because the e pawn is not protected.
Because the
anymore.
e-pawn is no longer
Oh,
protected.
that's genius. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead, I played the logical follow-up to rook g6. Actually, no, sorry. No, I missed a move. So the reason I played
Yes,
king
the
h2,
logical
I'm
follow-up.
worried about queen d5 here. I thought that's why he played e3
Ah, so that's why you didn't want to.
because I didn't want my king,
Yeah.
my queen pinned to my king.
But
He
you-
still
you
doesn't
forget-
take
You just
it.
forgot that the end game was winning because of pawn on e3.
Exactly. I was looking for a knockout blow, and I was just trying to make sure my knockout blow worked. He played e2. This is still winning for me. It's very complicated. I think what I have to do is play like rook g5 or something. But his pawn actually doesn't promote. It's really, really, really weird, and it's an engine line that I haven't memorized. Talk about being prepared. But this was the follow-up
Yeah,
that
that
I
makes
planned with.
sense. Yeah.
Because plan should be obvious. Take the pawn on h7, queen g6, and that's mate. You know, assuming he does a nothing move, but he didn't. Queen e8, stopping my plan.
Except that's wrong.
Ah,
So this is the toughest. This is probably the best move I've ever played in an actual tournament game, with the possible exception of what I played
The rook
in
side?
round 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he played a marshal in a tournament.
Yeah, so anyway, think about all the tactics that exist in this position. Okay, you've got an X-ray on the G8 square. You've got a bishop pinned by another bishop. How often does that happen? And you've got multiple batteries everywhere. And black's about to promote. So what in the world is the absolute best move in this position? And the answer is you've got to stop that pawn from promoting. And you've got to keep the tension.
It's rook b1, isn't
No.
No.
It's way
it? I think,
crazier.
wait, I'm thinking of a different engine. Mine.
Yeah,
That's-
no,
I
but
thought it was later.
yeah, I think, yeah. So, and the key tactic is an interference.
Oh
bishop.
wait, wasn't it? Oh no, that's it is rook d6,
bishop
isn't
to
it?
E
Yes, it is.
Rook e6. I think you were dyslexic there.
Yeah, my bad.
So just another case of damn mothers against dyslexia.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
so
Which is why rook d8 was the best.
and he promoted, and this was my big blunder. This is where I actually lost the game. I did all the work, and this is where I lost.
Rook e1, right?
The correct move is rook e to e1,
Completely
You
weird.
played rook g.
and I took with the
And
other
it's dead
rook,
lost.
Yeah, that
and it's dead lost. So let's explain the tactics. Name a move for black, and I'll show you how black loses.
a6.
Well, okay, that's just a nothing move.
That's the
I
Okay,
think I
let's
can.
just throw something right about. Let's say rook takes e1, right?
Yeah,
That's the most obvious.
let's actually do something maybe productive. And the correct tactic here is takes with check, only legal move, and checkmate. So you can't take the rook there. So next people are going to say take that. Well, remember that X-ray I said?
Well, now you played rook.
Now I take
Check,
there.
Take, check, rook two.
Yep, it takes everything.
Couldn't you have also played rook takes e7?
No, you gotta take on e7
Rook
last.
takes chooses check.
Yeah, you have to. Everything has to be checked until your
Oh, that's
last
right. You put your
capture.
king on h2. for some
And
reason.
I don't see how black's even drawing this. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, but
BB6.
probably bishop to b6, yeah. And
This just looks like a winning.
rook e5.
Doesn't
yeah, rook e5, and that pawn's falling. That pawn will eventually fall. White's just better in this ending.
But
Instead, I took with the wrong rook to quote Bobby Fischer, to paraphrase Bobby Fischer.
And now
And this is just dead lost. He took my rook, and I realized, oh, I grabbed the wrong rook. And this is actually one of the reasons why I will grab my opponent's piece first when I'm capturing, is so that if I have multiple options, I can sit there and think about the right one, and say, okay, it's this piece is the right one.
They can't say touch move if you do that, can you?
Not if you touch
Well,
that.
technically, if I touch their piece first, the only thing is I have to capture it.
Okay.
That's the key. If I grab my own piece first, I have to make a move with that piece.
Can you explain that before he promoted why he couldn't take the rook?
because that blunder.
Because that
now
blunder's
the bishop
made,
takes
yeah.
on the g7.
Not a bishop takes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And now it's
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to do that in the other order. I'm sorry. Bishop takes first?
You want bishop takes bishop first.
Oh, then it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
And it's the same tactic.
Yeah, okay.
yeah. I also had a quick question.
Well-
Back when Black played Queen e8, I was really determined that Rook g8 was more accurate.
Oh, rook g to e8.
I was like,
And then
so,
we put it
I was
into an
so
engine and he had an
committed
aneurysm.
that this was the right move.
What was the correct move here? Was it? I want to say it was check for no. And
I
which
think you're
check?
right.
I think this is winning for black.
Like seriously, I was so committed that this had to have been played.
I think the engine analysis.
That yeah, okay.
Maybe rook d6. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
think
for some kind of bishop.
Rook d6 was what was said to be played.
Yeah, but you just take on d4.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Take on d4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
that's
Okay, so
right.
we gotta get rid of that first. Then
I think rook e6 has to be played here.
rook e6.
No, rook e6 works.
No, rook e6. No, rook e6.
Bishop
Oh,
g7.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's-
so bishop g7 maybe first.
No, but then rook takes.
Yeah, the rook just takes, I think.
Yeah.
Black is fine.
I think he's saying rook e6 again.
Oh, okay. You're saying
And that could be
rook
right.
to e6.
Yeah, I think
Okay, so
that-
Black takes
obviously-
bishop, and he's fine.
But I was thinking,
Well, I was thinking here maybe black takes with the bishop, maybe?
Yeah, black has to take on d4.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. it's
Yeah,
just
you
Uh,
could exchange on e7.
she wants
or-
to check.
Yeah, so that's a
Oh,
problem.
and-
So I think the answer is you do actually have to take this.
No, it's just
Yeah, but that's just
rook.
the
No.
Maybe.
Well, if you that passed pawn is going to be an issue.
Oh, like a
Up and
major
up.
issue, yeah. Like you can't stop that.
Yeah, that's why I swore rook g8 had to have been like the move.
Yeah.
You know, I said I wasn't going to use an engine
Oh, this has got
for this, but I gotta check.
Yeah, honestly,
Oh, deep frets.
It's what I've got on this computer.
Yep.
Wow.
What did I tell you, Nathaniel? I knew it. Black is too.
It's the only move that wins.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
And he found it like half a second too. It
Yeah, I
was like-
know. I was like,
Yeah,
rook
okay.
g8 only.
And that's just losing. Rook e6 is genius.
Well, it's not even losing. It's like plus or equal. I think.
Alright, so I'm not going to save. But yeah, so. No, don't save.
Yeah, I feel
So, we're going to just breeze through this quickly because half of this game is theory.
Oh yeah, I remember. this.
Marshall theory.
It was just that one move that wasn't theory that kind of.
Yeah, so the one move that he made a mistake on was here.
Should play g5.
Yes,
Yeah.
he has to play g5 here.
That's
and
the
apparently
only-
he didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the only
I don't think he knew rookie. He didn't know rook e4 because he tanked here. He spent like 10 minutes on this move and he played the wrong one.
10 minutes is tanking to you, really?
Shush. Shush, Grizz, shush.
10 minutes on move 15.
Now,
Taking's working out.
if you're caught in a position like this and you don't know what the theoretical move is, or if you think it's theory and you don't know what the correct move is, try to figure out why your opponent played that move instantly. And it's pretty easy. What's the only possible reason to play rook e4 in this position?
Well, rook h4 and queen f1, but.
Yeah, but rook h4 is the more the
Also
more
not
natural
sure.
one. It's the faster one. It's the one that, okay, if you're playing rook e4, why is your rook going back and forth and back and forth?
Oh, yeah,
It's
we
doing
need to
something.
ask you, after g5, why can't the bishop take?
Okay, so g5 is a bad move. Well,
That's why you
no,
can do it.
g5 is theory, sorry. It's bishop g5 is bad, and it's because queen f5. And that's actually, once you realize that g5 stops rook h4 and he can't take it, you can pretty much say, okay, this is the correct move then.
Probably.
It's
Oh,
different
but-
when you play d3 instead of d4.
No,
Yeah,
that's when you got it. Different
Question
move.
mark.
Yeah,
Different
so knight f6 is total blunder.
Knight f6 is what Marshall played the first time he played it.
Except it was a different line.
It's a different line, but it was like very similar.
He played bishop f6. He played bishop f6 and not bishop
f6,
d6.
yeah. Not bishop d6.
And that was against Capablanca. Anyway, rook h4, queen has to go. Well, queen doesn't have to go to d7. I thought there was some interest in queen f5,
Bishop
but
c2.
bishop c2, queen d5, and I don't trust that position. So queen d7 makes the most sense to me. Bishop g5, put pressure on the knight, make threats on h7 real. After bishop to e7,
c2, right?
bishop c2, because you take the knight, and h7 is vulnerable. So g6. Knight d2, improve your worst piece. If you can't think of a good plan, find your worst piece and try to make it better. Knight d5 creates some tension, but I've got that, and maybe I think the knight is a better attacker than the bishop. Yes, he's got dark squared weaknesses around his king, but a knight on g5 with a rook on h4 is hard to argue against, especially with that diagonal. Plus, there's all sorts of crazy tactics. Rook e8. It kind of makes sense in a marshal to play a rook to e8, but normally it's the a rook. Because most of the time black in a marshal is pushing all of his kingside pawns.
Also, the queen's not usually on d7.
Well, usually white's not the one with the kingside attack. Normally when things go wrong for black in a marshal, white gets a million queens. This is highly unusual. Knight e5. Sacking a bishop, but not really, because the queen's under threat. And d6 is really the only move, because otherwise knight c6 is pretty dangerous, as well as bishop e7. There's a lot of moving parts in this position. But I figured out pretty quick he couldn't take my bishop. I figured that he had to move his queen somewhere.
Why not queen a7?
Knight c6.
Oh.
I don't see what the queen is doing on a7 really.
It's got a nice diagonal.
It does. It's fighting.
It's fighting on granite.
Yeah.
On the d4 front.
So yeah, queen d6, and
Am I
think
doing
here you
anything
said
more?
play rook
I
h8.
could play the move of the game on this move, but I played queen f3 first because, again, I wanted to improve a piece before I did anything crazy. And then bishop to e6, just the most natural way to defend that f7 pawn, because that's the other thing queen f3 did, was it threatened f7 in a bad way. And I think this is probably the move of the game.
The chess player's heroine.
Yeah. And I think there's somebody who didn't see the opening of this game and walked by and was like, how did that rook get there?
Yeah, I remember the move here, right? It was very nice.
So anyone have a guess?
I have a guess.
Well, I know.
Who hasn't seen the game?
That's how the rook get there must be h6.
You need a
but
you need a
without
knockout.
that hint, I don't know.
You need
It's
like
not
a-
rook h6.
Close.
You're good
Very,
at
very.
You're very warm.
Could not be closer.
H7 sack.
Yes.
There you go.
And we spent a good 3 or 4 hours analyzing this game that day, and no one could figure out if this was any good or not.
Oh.
And I went home and I thought it was good.
It looks good.
And I thought in the game, I was playing it, I'm like, I can't see how it's bad.
You pulled up an engine at
Well-
the tournament, though.
Oh, yeah, I did eventually, and it said, brilliant.
TLXX glam.
But I didn't check the lines to see why. I just knew that this was a crushing attack.
Well, it looks like you have to play really accurate here because it's not very clear how white wins immediately.
Well,
It still has to be played accurately.
so does anybody have a defensive move?
well, let's
Nope,
just say
I think,
king takes,
I
right?
think this is good.
Yeah. So, but does anybody want to try to defend?
Bishop takes g5.
Bishop takes g5. That was one of the. That was a good move. New variation. And if I remember correctly, the move here
Knight
was
f7.
knight f7.
Bishop takes? No, not bishop
No,
takes.
bishop takes is mate.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what the actual.
Queen f8?
Oh, queen f8, rook h8.
Actually,
Queen f8. You can play rook.
No.
or no, knight h6 check, I think.
No, this
No,
is
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
It's literally all
Yeah.
your pieces. Rook h8's got it.
Rook h8.
Only move is
What
game
is?
up.
Yeah,
Staying
the,
there.
and the queen is just dead.
Yeah, and that's winning. So you can't play queen f8. I was thinking that's also pretty good, but yeah, no, rook h8's better.
I don't really think black has any. Like, he looks like he has to leave his queen.
I mean, can you
to die.
take? No, you can't take now. You can't take less now, actually.
I'm gonna say I think black is pretty.
I think the king.
Knight f6.
I don't want to take it.
the queen is under attack, and if the queen moves,
I mean, knight f6 looks like the only
you either get
continuation.
mated or you lose the queen.
But you're losing the queen there.
I propose
You don't really have a choice.
queen e7.
Queen to e7. Okay.
Well, queen e7.
Yeah,
right,
but you
moves,
just
and it's a check.
Yeah, but you get
bishop
material
h6,
for
bishop
it.
h6, but you have material, right?
Well, Ben, you can just play.
You can
knight
still play rook
h6.
h8, right?
Can't you just play knight h6?
Knight h6, yeah.
And knight h6, just take on h6, and then rook e7, and then
Black has a lot of
you
pieces
have a
for
lot
the
of pieces
queen,
for a
I
queen.
mean, yeah, but
Actually, you
it's
have
a queen.
but the emperor has no clothes.
Touche.
Of course he has clothes. Are you stupid?
What?
Front bishop and
He has,
knight versus
he has
queen.
pieces for clothes now.
No, I was referring to the actual story.
A lot of pawns,
Yeah.
however.
Well, to be fair, your A rook is rather active, but it's going to play rook e1, and I think white should just.
White's materially better, but I mean, black can try.
Yeah, it's
Actual story of
complicated.
the emperor's new clothes is that only smart people.
What,
can see.
That's
what
an
about,
old book.
what about
It's an old book.
Yeah.
Bishop, Bishop
Actually
G4?
That was very double-edged.
Which one?
Bishop G4?
Bishop-
White bishop.
Oh, in this position?
Yeah, is that,
Bishop g4.
is that knight
Still
H6?
h8 though.
I think.
Rook
No,
h8.
I think the correct move is to take it, takes
Yeah.
here. here.
Or you, like,
I
down,
feel like you-
down material.
I feel
Oh
like-
yeah, no.
I feel
Like
like
rook
there's
h8, right? And then you just take the bishop.
Well, rook h8 can be 7 and what?
Well, no.
Why not just take the bishop immediately? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's-
yeah. I was like, why can't I just
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah,
I thought
take-
there
Right,
was
that's
some
the, well, the
trick.
idea was to get the queen off
Well,
that.
Queen
that-
f6
Well,
now.
now
and
king
now
takes
can you take
h7
the
and knight
rook?
takes
Can you
g6.
take- Oh,
No,
knight
you
d6,
can't.
sorry.
Knight d6, knight d6.
Oh yeah, there's that.
No, no, knight
There's
d6.
that
No.
second
Well, you're
d6.
losing the, yeah, you're just losing the queen now. Okay.
You
Yeah,
gotta move.
queen f6.
Yeah, I forgot the queen was just hanging.
Yeah.
Instead of
See,
taking
see
queen
how
f6.
complicated this is? Why do you think we spent a ton of time analyzing this
Was this
before I
was this
put
knight
it in?
takes f7 line actually played?
No.
No, it's just a.
So this was the position. He played rook to f8 if I remember.
I think it's cool to point out what
I
happens
think
after
that
king
makes
h7.
any sense.
Yeah, no.
It's
For
gotta-
the people who are wondering why he didn't just take this, check.
Pinned, yeah.
King has to go somewhere.
Like king g8.
King g8, you think?
I think king g8.
Yeah, I feel like
And then it was, I want to say, first I played here, threatened mate,
Yeah.
and I don't see anything other than taking it.
I'll take queen take check. Game over.
And yeah, that's game over.
Let's game over. Bishop h6.
Bishop h6.
Yeah.
What after king h3?
h8 is just made.
Queen h7.
It doesn't really
Bishop
change
on
the mate.
Or what you could do after
Oh,
the
yeah, I
grandmaster,
forgot.
like queen h6.
The
queen
entire
h6,
game's
and then
based on the
queen
bishop.
h7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could really make him suffer by repeating.
Always repeat.
But
Yeah.
instead he played rook to f8.
Which I don't think that makes any sense.
It doesn't.
I think
I
here.
guess he was just really scared of the f pawn pressure.
If I remember, it was supposed to be, I
Did he
think,
remove
knight.
any escape possibilities?
No, knight g6, if I remember correctly, is what I was supposed to do. Because it threatens mate, it threatens his rook, threatens his bishop.
If I just take it.
If you just take it,
Rook down check maybe? No.
no.
Why not just play simple? Bishop e7, move the rook back.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that was the line we discussed.
Bishop e7,
Yeah, I'm forgetting all these lines.
knight e7, probably. Queen e7 is good too. Just move the rook back.
Probably.
Or, well, no, with the queen on e7, play knight g6.
Yeah.
Oh, the queen on f3 is hanging.
Yeah, they're both.
Okay, just move the rook back then, it's fine.
Yeah. So move the rook back. Yeah, and white's better. But he played rook f8, and I got cute. This still wins.
Yeah, but now there's.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
What would you expect from me? It still wins, and I figured it out eventually.
What did he play here?
He played a blunder.
Was it king?
Yeah, I think you should take the rook. He played knight f6.
Knight f6.
Double question mark.
And then rook g7, and then I played the best move.
Frankly.
And after that, I take, and he didn't know it was mate. I said Hakamate, and he's like, no, not yet. I said, and he's like,
You said that, yeah.
oh. I said, just looked at the board. He didn't see it. But rook h7, just that is a tactics book tactic.
What's your
Yeah, that's
rating
right.
after the tournament?
1578.
Nice.
I should have gained a heck of a lot more because I should have won round 4, and I probably should have won round 5.
You probably would have broke 1600.
20,
I would have
2100.
easily broken 1600. What are you talking
Even
about? If I
2100 like that.
what?
I think the highest rated player I've beaten over the board classical would be 2281.
Yeah,
So you're
and let's be
close.
honest. I demolished that guy,
It's not.
and then unfortunately I.
How much time did you have on your clock when you grabbed the wrong rook?
54 minutes.
54
What?
minutes, and you took with the wrong
Ben.
rook.
Come on, Ben.
Adrenaline.
I'm the opposite of a time pressure addict. You would have sat there until you had 2 seconds.
When I was playing Andy Samuelson, I swear he used like maybe 10 minutes, and I had like.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and play